Okay, I am up this morning because I did a video a couple of days ago and I lost it. I don't know what I did with it, but I'm doing it again today. So today, this morning, I want to thank you guys. But this is a special invitation because I have somebody that's on my Facebook page that asked me about Young Dolph, and everybody think that Young Dolph died in the same area that he grew up in, which is not true. So I want to go ahead and also this is an intro to the judge that I'm going to meet tomorrow for the interview with Judge Lee Coffey, who will be presiding over Young Dolph's murder trial. Now, Castalia, I want to give you a little background about Castalia. Castalia is a predominant black neighborhood, and back in the day, it was beautiful. In fact, Kellogg's, which is in Castalia, is their warehouse. They make cereal, certain types of cereal. They are still in Castalia. So, and they're in the neighborhood. So Castalia is very, very, it's kind of blight in a lot of areas. But I grew up in Castalia. I grew up with my children in Castalia. I want to reiterate that. My mom grew up in Castalia. My aunties grew up in Castalia. My cousins grew up in Castalia. My dad's side grew up in Castalia. So Castalia has a very rich history with not only just with me, but with a lot of Memphians. And so Young Dolph was only 40 when he passed. So, you know, I'm a little bit older than him. And my kids are a little bit like 7 years below him. So they met. I know my son knew him and knew of his music, and my daughter, I think she did, but my son did know about his music. Okay, so we're coming in from the other side of, like we're going toward downtown, and that's where we're going. We're going like we're going toward downtown, where Makita's at. Now, Makita's is in another area not far from Castalia. And Makita had been in business for years. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think when they first opened up their shop and they were just selling cookies, the butter cookies, if anybody lived in Memphis, know that they were called school cookies because they would, you know, we bought them at school. My mama used to give us 15, 20 cents. And you got one of the three biggest cookies, and sometimes you ate it with milk, or I ate it with chocolate milk. That's probably why I'm a diabetic, you know. So anyway, it was like, oh my goodness, they were the best cookies you could have ever tasted. So when they opened up the Makita shop, that was back here in the early mid 80s. When they did that, I mean, yeah, I take that back. It was the early 90s when they did that, and I mean, that was their first location, and then later on they moved to another location, which was downtown, and they had two locations, and in fact, this is a black-owned company, and in fact, they had started selling their cookies in the grocery stores. So, you know, it had become, Makita Cookies had become so synonymous with Memphis that, you know, people went there to get cookies, and their cookies are good. Me, I don't go for chocolate chip. They, you know, that was Young Dolph's thing. I don't go for chocolate chip because it's too much chocolate. I love chocolate, but some things are just too much chocolate, okay? Now, we're coming up to the Airways exit. Memphis is, like I said, I'm talking and driving because I want the person that, I want you guys to kind of get a feel of what Memphis is like. Memphis used to be a beautiful, well, it is a little bit, but not like it was. Memphis was a beautiful city. I mean, you could go down on Beale Street, you felt safe. Certain areas of Memphis, you felt safe. You didn't have to worry about nothing. You didn't have to worry about nobody killing you. Oh my goodness. And they got more police, these little police cameras all over the place, but you didn't have to worry about nothing. Certain areas you just didn't go down. It wasn't, it wasn't, you just didn't go down. Even from Memphis, you knew that. So that was Memphis. Memphis was just beautiful. We had won for City Beautiful, and then all of a sudden, it just happened. We started getting people, instead of crime started going into an area, and instead of people, trying to fight crime and do things, they just said that. Well, they felt like, okay, now let me stop. That's Airways. But that's where we're going to end up at. But that's not where we're starting off at, okay? I just want you to know that that's where we're going to end up at. But that's not where we're starting off. So anyway, it was just really beautiful. I mean, back in the 80s and the early 90s, I used to have a habit. Leave your purse in the car, windows down. People would drive and leave their car running and go inside, and you leave your kids in the car while the car running and go inside somewhere and come on back out. I mean, it was so beautiful. It was things, but now it's like, my son was telling me that it just seemed like now, older people are getting, he said, Mom, I wish you would dye your hair. And I was like, why? He said, because they target old people, elderly. Well, I'm not elderly. I mean, I got great hair, but, I'm not, it's not to the point where, you don't know that I'm not old. I hope you don't. So this is, this is part of Whitehaven. Mill Branch, that bridge you're seeing, that's part of it. That's when you're going into Whitehaven. When you're going into Whitehaven, that you're going into Elvis Presley. That's where you're going to, okay? So don't think that that all of these places are bad. They're not bad. But you got to be, even in your own city, you have to be careful when you are going out, okay? Just be careful. Okay, now we're getting ready to get off of the north. We're going to the north. It's strange. I've been gone for 8 years, and I still, a lot of places, I still know how to get around. Okay, we're getting ready to go north, and we're getting ready to get off on the first exit, which is Norris. We're getting ready to do that. Okay. I may even, play some Young Dolph as we get there. Let me see if I can get on my other phone and play some Young Dolph. Okay. I sure hope on. Yeah. No, because then if I do that, then, I take that back. Okay, so now we're getting ready off of Norris Road. This is not Castalia. I'll let you know when Castalia come, but this is not Castalia. But Ruby Oaks, they used to have some apartments. Them are beautiful apartments. So yeah, you're actually seeing where he lived, where he grew up at, and where he passed away. So I'm just giving you some history about Memphis, a little bit about Memphis. So I hope you enjoy this. I really do. I hope you get an insight. Yep, there used to be a school over there. Now it's not. It's two ways to go through to get to Castella. You can go down straight down Hernando, what we're doing, or you can go down, I forgot this street name. Anyway, you can go down, they ain't got no street sign, but anyway, you can go down this street, which is, I think, Norris, and then hit Parkway. But if you do that, if you go on Parkway, either left or right, if you go right, you're going to end up at Elvis, toward Elvis Place. But if you go toward left, then you're going to go toward Castella, where downtown and all of that. So I'm glad you're if you're still with me. I know I talk, but I want to get you a good situation about where Young Dolph lived, where he grew up in, not lived, but where he grew up with. So I want you to understand it, so that when you start looking at the trial, then you'll kind of get an understanding of how this young man, how he was raised. Like I said, Castella it was a more older generation. It was more my mother's generation. When I moved there, my granddad had just passed, and over half of my neighbors were retired. So they saw me going to work, and they knew what was going on. They just knew what was going on. They knew who came to your house. They knew what was going on. That was part of Castella. And over the years, they passed away, and their family got hold to the business, got hold to their property, and things changed. When I lived there across the street, it was this black catering company. They ran it out of their house, which was strange. Back then it was strange, but they name was Scott's. But back then that was not abnormal for that to happen. It was just that was part of, that was just part of the business. A lot of people ran businesses out of their house. So that was the most important thing. So yeah, so let's go ahead and turn here. Now, this is a road going through a cemetery. It's 4 types of cemetery. This is 2 right here. That's a Jewish cemetery. And then when we go a little bit further up, you're going to see another cemetery. And then you're going to see a cemetery where Elvis used to was buried, and they moved his body. This street used to be so raggedy, and the city tried to tear it down, destroy it and stop it for so long. But it became a vital part because a lot of people use this road to get back and forth. Now, back in the day, somebody hung somebody from the tree from this cemetery, and people was driving by and they saw it, and it was on the news, and it was very important. So now, here we go. We are on Parkway, what they call Elvis Presley. We are Elvis Presley and Person. So now we are officially coming up here. We are officially in Castella now. If you look, I'm gonna try to show it here. That's Hamilton High School, and that's Hamilton High School. And I'm gonna get out when we get to the place where we want to go. I'm gonna get out. But yeah, this is when we cross here. Now we are in Castella. This is Castella. This is Hamilton High School. You probably went to Hamilton High School, which is a very predominant school in this area. I'm just gonna tell you, if he went to Hamilton, which he probably did, he probably went to Hamilton Elementary. He probably went to Hamilton. They used to have a Hamilton Junior High, but they have now it's a middle school. And He going, he probably, walked home. It doesn't matter. This is part of Castalia. But this is a big part of it. Also, he probably went to this store, one of these stores, if he was in the area. Over on the left side, right there, that used to be a shop. All of this property on both sides used to be owned by a black man, including a church. He had a church. He had a business, auto business, and he had the store. And you would have thought that him being with all that money and stuff, where was he living at? And then he owned the house down the street, but he lived in a more modest house on here. And when he died, I guess his daughter died, but he ended up dying, as an old age. This is the post office loop. Census used to work here, the cleaning people. This used to be their location. This Castalia. See, now we're coming into Castalia Heights. That's Castalia Heights. That's the sign that you're going to see. Like I said, I grew up here. I grew up on this street. It was very, very, very predominant. It was very predominant. And so we're getting ready to turn. Now, I want to tell you before I start about this bridge. This was an interesting bridge. Back in the day, this bridge didn't exist. And the Kellogg's, which is right on the side of it. Hold on. Kellogg's, which is right on the side of it. My car trying to act up. Anyway, was right on the side of it. Trains used to come right there and then stop. And as a result of that, the kids were coming home from school. They would have to, wait for the train, or they used to have to go in the back of the train, or they used to end up jumping on the train and try to cross it, which was very dangerous back then. I want to keep showing you that bridge. So what happened was, one day, I didn't let my kids go to school like that. I drove and picked them up. I didn't care how. Well, anyway, I want to get out and show you. Yeah, this little bridge. So anyway, one day a couple of kids was trying to cross the street, and they was over that bridge. And then the bridge, for some reason, they was crossing the street over the tracks. I'm sorry. And then what happened was, the train that was right here, and this is Kellogg's now. This is Kellogg's. The train jerked, and one of the children ended up dead. As a result of that, back then in the day, didn't nobody sue. Suing was not common in it, like it is now. So what happened was, the city of Memphis ended up taking the bridge, making the bridge, so that when they do that this would happen. Now, wouldn't happen. So that was a positive thing. So with that being said, we're in Castalia. It's right off a Person, and when you go there, let me stop. This is what you will see. I'm gonna get out my car and cut it off. This is what you will see. Y'all know I ain't no video, I ain't into the video stuff, so don't be. See, there go Kellogg's right there. Kellogg's, you gonna see that. That's Kellogg's. And Kellogg's own all of this, But back in the day, it was not common for, people to sue. And with that being said, this is the mural of Young Dolph. This is his mural. And it's on the side of the community grocery. And let me do this so that y'all can see. So it's like right here, the community grocery. That sign been there for like forever. This sign been there forever. And believe it or not, those two places right there used to be a laundromat and a club. It used to be a club, but they got a dirty sports room. I don't know what that is, but it used to be a club, and then it used to be a laundromat, and then right there it used to be a club right there, and then it used to be something else. It used to be another store there, right here where that little corner at. But all of that is in. I don't know how it looks on the inside, but these used to be more of a store that you went to and see. Look, they have the thing. Whoever did that did it pretty good. I mean, I saw it on pictures, but whoever did it really good. Now, what we're getting ready to do now, so I'm getting ready to get in the car. I mean, they got a lot of signs that talking about Young Dolph. They got dolphins. Let me show it real quick. Now, when you go to the mural, they got little dolphins here, little dolphins right there. They got that. What else? They basically took over this. They got Young Dolph. I mean, you know, it's Castade, so you know it's full of blight. It's a lot of blight, which probably have a lot of crime. I haven't been here like in God over 20 years. Oh, about 15. I'll say about 15. So yeah, so this is where one of the spots. Now we're getting ready to go. This is kind of a long video, but we're getting ready to go now. We're getting ready to go see where he actually died at, okay? I'm gonna see also if I can find where he's buried. And if I could take you there, I would take you there. Okay, so he's in South Memphis. He was laid to rest in South Memphis. So I will find you that, and then I'll get back. I'm going to do a second video. Okay, so now we're getting ready to go to where he actually died. And for y'all on my YouTube, I'm going to try to edit this because this is kind of a long video. So, okay, we're getting ready to go here. And this is another grocery store. I think it's closed. But anyway, all of this used to be, oh my goodness, this used to be like this little black place, this little room hole in the wall right there used to be called the Black Hut. And they used to sell chitlins plate. And I know it's the South. And when I expected my daughter, man, I used to eat there all the time. I thought my baby was gonna come out looking like a chitlin. Anyway, so that's a South thing. So I apologize. But all of this right here is part of Kellogg's and AB. It's a trucking line and all of that. So I just wanted to get y'all to get an idea of what, where we at. Castade, like I said, Castade, this is probably one of the stores he went to around here. That was a black owned. Majority of these stores were black owned, but over the time they became Korean, palette, other ethnics. So they, things have changed. Now we're getting ready to leave. When we get to this corner right here, this light, I'm gonna bring it up a little bit. Bring it up, yeah. Bring it up. I want y'all to see. I'm telling you that when you gotta have some good ties when you get on some of these roads in Memphis. They are pretty bad, okay? So when we get up to this light right here, this is where Castella ends. And now we're on Airways Boulevard. This is the street that we're on now that he has passed, that he died. Now I have some police friends that that work on the Memphis Police Department, and you know, that told me that when he died, that you know, it had got so bad that you know, people could see his body, which was on that was out, kind of like outside the window. It was like, you know, between the window inside and outside, because he had died. And we're gonna, when we talk about the process, when we meet with the judge tomorrow, Judge Lee Coffey, we're gonna talk about how long the process, because Sherry Wright, her trial was like, oh my God, it looked like it was never gonna end. And then just as it had ended and she got sentenced, her parole was last week. So you know, that did something. So we're getting ready now to pull up. So he probably was like at his mom's house or somewhere visiting a friend and stuff. It wasn't far. And there you go. You're going to see the sign that says Makita Cookies. See? You see the sign, the Makita Cookies. There you go. Makita Cookies. And like I said, and we're going to pull up now. And this is where his site is at. And believe it or not, people are still coming. And let me get right here. Yeah, people are still coming and paying respects. Yesterday, I saw somebody that had, see, people are still coming to pay respects. So this is where he died. And that window right there is where they said that that's where his body was. His body was, part of his arm or something was hanging out of the thing, and they had to put it back in because of what, you know. But anyway, so this is where I'm going to end this video, and then I'm going to pick up later where it left off.